set.
Yeah, so this Friday, Captain Marvel, got your tickets yet?
I think it's gonna be terrible.
What?
Welcome back for episode 9 of the Screen Therapy Podcast. I'm Charlie Rogers. I go by SeeJayAre online, and as always, I'm joined by Nick Steinberg.
It's great to be here with you today.
Yeah, so last week we actually mentioned that it seems that every time we finish one of these podcasts, there's breaking news within the next day or two.
Yeah, and lo and behold, that pretty much happened. I don't remember the exact date now, but we found out that Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé will be retiring in April.
Yeah, at 57.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm sure, money is no concern right now, but yeah, you gotta wonder, like, I feel like he's still so, vibrant and involved. Maybe it's just, he really needs a break. I think he had said something about, maybe wanting to spend more time with his family.
Yeah.
I mean, that job, it's got to be, it's a 24/7 sort of thing.
Right. Now, I've always wondered how much power Reggie actually had, being that Nintendo is a Japanese company.
Right.
And I wonder how much say they give to their North American wing, because as we have discussed many times before, Nintendo just kind of marches to the beat of their own drum. Yeah. Oftentimes doing stuff that really doesn't make sense for them to do as a company. Logical stuff that we feel like they probably should have done isn't done. And I think that's Nintendo Japan still running the show, where I feel like more control should have been given to Nintendo of America. So I always wondered basically how much power and say Reggie had.
Well, I feel like probably quite a bit. The thing with Reggie is he had a pretty big marketing background. Right. And he was great at kind of, I guess, getting the information from Japan. Yep. And making it, I guess,
digestible.
Yeah, digestible for American audiences.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well said. I agree.
Yeah, and Reggie's been kind of the face of Nintendo in North America, I'd say, since I think he made his debut in E3 2004, and it was a pretty memorable presentation, because he got up on stage and he's like, "My name's Reggie and I'm here to kick ass," or something like that, and it was like, whoa, this is pretty bold for Nintendo. Right. And he's weathered a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot of ups and downs over the years, right? Because he's been there since the GameCube and DS era, through the highs of the Wii, but then the 3DS launch was really bad, but then it got better, but then the Wii U was awful. So it's like, and he's coming out kind of on a high note, I guess. Now the Switch is really successful, and I mean, I wish him all the best, I think. Right. Do you remember seeing him at E3 when we were there for E3? It sucks we didn't get an interview with him, but he was right there. We were so close, and he was in the middle of being interviewed, and he had a bunch of people around him, and Nick and I were at the Nintendo booth playing some of the Nintendo Switch games that hadn't come out yet. Yeah. We actually met Charles Martinet, and I got a picture with him, so that was cool. The nicest man ever. And then Reggie started filming about 10 feet away from us. And I was like, do we go over and see if we can grab him? But I didn't. I think they actually asked us to move. Like, we're trying to interview him. You're like, I'm sorry. It was our first time being at E3, so I'm like, I don't want to. It's a lot, And then we were like outside later, right? And this big van pulled up, and I could have sworn, I can't remember if it said Nintendo on the side. I'm like, I bet you Reggie's getting that van. Yeah. Let's just wait here for a second. Maybe we can get a sound clip, but we never did. So that's as close as Nick and I ever got to Reggie. That's our Reggie story. Hey, we have a Reggie story. That's pretty cool, though. We saw him. But yeah, Reggie, you're right. He has weathered the storm. There's been all kinds of memes of people kind of poking fun at Reggie over the years. And I kind of saw Reggie as this, like, I don't know, kind of endearing figure that wasn't afraid to kind of laugh at himself and not take things too seriously when it comes to the criticism. And I think he fit that role at Nintendo as, like, this fun, like, kind of toy video game company really well. I really always enjoyed his spirit. Yeah. As awkward as it may have been sometimes, I really liked Reggie. I've always associated him with Nintendo, I feel like, because when he came on board, I feel like that's when he's really started to get into digesting kind of like games media and things like that, like, IGN and websites like that. So he's always been this face. I mean, if you follow Nintendo or just probably game industry news at all, you know the name Reggie. Right. Or you say Reggie and you associate it with Nintendo. So, but the next guy who's taking his job, have you seen his name? Yeah. Oh yeah. Doug Bowser. Like, it couldn't be more perfect. And so I don't think we'll have a problem kind of remembering who the next guy is.
Yeah, essentially Mario's arch nemesis.
Yeah, he's taken over. Nintendo is in the iron claw grasp of Bowser now.
Right. So yeah, I've seen some like tweets and stuff come out from Nintendo that have referenced that.
Well, yeah, they're gonna make fun at that for sure.
Yeah, so we were talking a little bit earlier that today is actually a pretty big anniversary for Nintendo.
Yeah, so we're recording on March 3rd, and it's the 2-year anniversary of the Nintendo Switch launch.
Right.
Which, holy crap, 2 years already?
Yeah, it's time for a console iteration, right?
Yeah, it's time for them to release an updated one that we can get, right?
Yeah, you know, we've talked about that a little bit in the past, whether, you know, I think there's some sort of pro version coming to kind of keep up the specs so they can continue to get third-party support.
Yeah.
As well as maybe a light version. We all know Nintendo's a fan of doing console variations throughout the life cycle.
Revisions, what have you. Yeah, I definitely think it's a system ripe for updates. One that just comes to mind is put the damn, power cord slot on the top.
Yes,
absolutely. I don't know why that's on the bottom. It's so annoying when you're trying to charge it while you're playing.
Right.
I mean, battery life could be improved.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Even, an extra hour of battery life would be fantastic. So, what were let's go back to, January to March of, 2017.
Yeah.
What were your initial impressions? Because from what I remember, there was a pretty short window from when the console was announced to when it was out. It was like a couple months, like, where they unveiled and showed it the first time.
Yeah, they had that big, kind of showcase event in January 2017. So only 2 months before launch.
So what were your thoughts when they revealed it?
I was really excited by it.
Me too.
I thought I was a little wary of kind of the focus on the motion controls and things like that.
Yep.
But the Zelda trailer and I think there was a Super Mario Odyssey trailer. And that was exciting alone. It was like, okay, cool, I want to get this. Yeah. But as we got closer to the launch date, so I had it pre-ordered. I pre-ordered after that showcase.
I think I did too.
Yeah, but as we got closer, there were there's a lot of kind of I feel like people don't remember this, but it was some of the games media stuff was pretty negative towards the Switch before launch. It was very doubtful.
There was a direct, I think, that happened right before, like a month before the console came out.
Yeah.
And all of the good press that Nintendo got in that initial reveal, I'm not sure how much they went into motion control. I think it was in that second one where they doubled down on motion controls.
Yeah.
And they really focused on, I think, the wrong areas. They kept really pushing, like, playing the games on the TV, whereas I felt that they should have. I always felt that the Nintendo Switch should have been sold as this is a handheld console that you can also play on your TV.
Totally.
And they sold it the other way around, which ended up working for them. But I still see this as a handheld console that you can play on your TV as a secondary function.
Yeah.
Not the other way around. So after that second, I think it was a direct just before launch, maybe a month before. People were down. I made a video that I was like, Nintendo, you really just messed this up, because the most of the feedback from the first one was pretty positive, and I was in. I'm like, oh my god, Nintendo, like, super powerful handheld. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had the pre-order. I was still in. I was like, I still think this is going to be a success, but after that second one, I feel like a lot of people were down on the system.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I was one of those people. From what I remember, the two big kind of question marks surrounding the Switch before launch were, the kind of the lack of games.
Yeah.
It looked like it was, okay, Zelda, and there's nothing else.
It was a terrible launch. One of the worst ever, in my opinion. It ended up being okay because Zelda was amazing, but there wasn't a whole lot there.
No, there wasn't. I was looking back, and there was, Breath of the Wild, and basically like 1-2 Switch and Super Bomberman.
Right. Not a whole lot.
No, there wasn't a lot. And I think also just the price of everything too. Yeah. Like the Pro controller was more expensive than like a PS4 controller or Xbox. Everything just seemed expensive. I mean, that's still kind of true now, but it just felt like you weren't getting enough.
Yeah.
If you're getting it at launch.
And there was all kinds of press that came out that it was using an older chipset that was like commonly used on some tablets.
Right. So it's like,
I can't remember the names of it. Integra chip, but anyways, it's like an older chip. So yeah, all the questions were like, because there was such poor third-party support on the Wii U, people were like, it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be a dedicated Nintendo machine. And I think that Zelda and oh my God, Mario
Kart. Mario Kart came out in April.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the Mario game didn't actually come out till that was 2018, right?
No, it was
or late 20.
It was in the fall of 2017.
Right.
Mario Odyssey.
So I feel like initially after launch, you know, the consoles were sold strictly on Zelda alone.
Yeah.
Remember the attachment rate was actually there was more Zeldas sold than there was like, consoles.
Oh yeah, because I mean the Switch was hard to find at first. For
right.
Sure. Places were selling out, and I feel like people were buying copies of Zelda to play on their eventual Switches.
Right. So yeah, then we had Mario Kart, which is a re-release basically of the Wii U version that kind of pushed it some more sales to this summer. Then we got hit with Mario, and then it was kind of just exploded from there. Yeah,
they had I think after probably from June to October of 2017, it was at least one huge game every month. You had, I think it was like
Splatoon
Boom,
2 in
ARMS, Splatoon, Mario Rabbids, and then Mario Odyssey. It was it was good. It was a good year. They really, I feel like they really did a good job of addressing the kind of software problem that we saw at launch.
Yeah, and then we started to see third-party support. You almost saw some companies kind of like dipping their toes in to see how well games sold. I know like EA did that with the initial FIFA game.
Right.
I would like to see more support from EA, but I think at least the platform has now proven that third-party games can and do sell well on the Switch.
I mean, it's like we always say, right? That portable factor is pretty big.
Yeah, and I'm willing to sacrifice some graphics if I can play games on the go.
Yeah. So before we move on, I just kind of wanted to get your sense of, okay, we're 2 years into the Nintendo Switch. What do you still love about the system, and what are still things that you kind of, I don't know, maybe not hate, but that you wish they would address already?
Yeah, like I said, I think it's time for a revision. I really do. I know that the sales the sales were great, and they kind of plateaued a little bit there. And the Switch wasn't selling like gangbusters like it was, that was probably like 7 or 8 months ago now.
Yeah.
Where they initially they passed, what are they at the 14 million mark now? They've passed the Wii U, fastest console to sell. Was it 10 million?
Yeah, it's actually the fastest selling current generation console.
Right.
And I looked this up before the show.
Okay.
Business Insider had an article that they published, I think, today, or at least in the last week.
And what did it say about the recent, last couple months? Because from what I heard,
it didn't mention too much about that. They expect to sell, I guess, it says by March 2019, which we're already in, they'll have sold 35 million Switches.
What?
Yeah. So
we're there already?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I feel like it is strong. I know what you mean, though. There was a point there, I feel like, where it came a little under expectations.
Yeah.
But apparently, or Nintendo themselves, they sold more games in 2018 than any other publisher, which actually surprised me because I thought maybe it would be Sony with Spider-Man and God of War last year.
Right.
But
yeah, that's
people
crazy.
People are buying Nintendo games. I mean, you had Smash, you had Mario Party, stuff like that.
I just think with a console revision, they'll get that little spike in sales and renewed interest in the hardware itself.
Yeah.
I really do think it's time.
I think the online service is still trash. Overall. I mean, you're paying a lot less, but still.
Right. Yeah, that is a factor for me that I'm only paying, $25 to $30 a year.
Yeah.
But I mean, what am I really getting out of it? A couple Nintendo games here and there.
Yeah, the NES games, and you can play Tetris 99. That's basically the reason I have it now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some big titles coming out for the Nintendo Switch in 2019, and I think it's as healthy as it's been. But I just feel like, I think it's time for a revision. I think the 3DS is finally going to be pushed out.
Yeah.
Probably 2 years late, in my opinion. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But we did get an interesting rumor.
Yeah, and this will address the online problem.
Right. This will hopefully add a little bit to Nintendo's online. So the rumor that I first heard was that Xbox Live is coming to the Nintendo Switch. So I guess that would mean that any cross-play game, so I guess a game like Rocket League, you would be able to unlock achievements while playing on your Nintendo Switch. But then it went kind of further with these rumors that Game Pass may be coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, and I think they would be doing kind of a mix of, you know, downloading games and streaming. Because, of course, a lot of games that are on the Xbox platform probably wouldn't run on Switch, or might, you know, struggle to. So
yeah, I know that they've kind of tested that a little bit out. They had a Resident Evil game in Japan that they were running.
Yeah, Japan they've had a couple, and I feel like I've heard that it runs pretty well.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know much about that, and to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of the Wi-Fi on the Nintendo Switch. Like, I find that I struggle sometimes to get a good speed out of it.
Okay, I haven't really found that, but I feel like I'm never downloading anything huge on a Switch, so I don't notice it.
I don't know. I hopefully can handle that sort of taxing on the network. Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're still in the infancy of being able to stream games, and they actually there's a little box out front of my house now where they've finally updated my area to gigabit internet, which is insane. So right now I have between 100 and 150 megabytes per second. I feel like if I was at 300, because my internet's fast, right? It feels fast. If I was at 300, I'm like, okay, that's really fast. But like, think about like 10 times what I have now.
Crazy.
Like, that's insane. So if you think of those speeds, you really should have no problem streaming games,
HD stuff. Yeah,
and that is the future, right? And I think that's where Xbox is going. They want to be like an app that you've got built into your TV on the Nintendo Switch that can just serve these games. I think the device itself is getting less and less important.
I think this is smart on Microsoft's part.
So do I.
It sounds kind of crazy at first. You're like, what? Xbox and Microsoft being on a Nintendo system? Like, what is this? But, you know, Microsoft, I mean, they made their money in software, and, you know, it feels like they are putting less attention on the Xbox actual hardware itself, and more of Xbox as a service. They want to be the Netflix of games,
right? And if that's where it's going to go, you know, that's pretty forward thinking of Microsoft to get a jump start on other game companies like that.
Yeah, and I've heard the argument too that it makes sense for being on the Nintendo Switch because while they are competitive with each other, I feel like they are catering to different markets in a way. In some cases, right? Like, it's not maybe a direct competitive.
No, I know what you're saying, and I totally agree. A lot of the experiences that you would get through the Xbox Live aren't available on the Nintendo Switch, right?
Right.
So, you know, we're going to get Senua's Sacrifice on the Nintendo Switch and see how that runs. I feel like these third-party games have done a pretty good job considering how the discrepancy in power between a Nintendo Switch and even a stock Xbox One. I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K on the Nintendo Switch. It's okay handheld, but when I hook it up to the TV, it is the frame rate is just trash. It's almost unplayable. I feel like a lot of these games run okay in handheld mode, but when you put them on TV for some reason, you're supposed to get that bump in power, but I think that the
it's because it's like upscaling it to
it's blowing it up, right? So if you have lesser visuals on a smaller screen, it's less noticeable. You blow it up and it's not so good. So I mean, if this happens, I think it's a smart move. I'm one of those people that, like, I always say you should own a Nintendo Switch, and then you should choose between a PS4 or Xbox One. And your grounds are pretty well.
PC.
You're pretty well covered. That, you know what I mean. You have the Nintendo console, and then to play whatever the big games are, big third-party games.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if Nintendo and Microsoft could kind of work together, there's been rumors forever of like Microsoft buying Nintendo.
Right.
It's interesting to see now.
Yeah, they're going to be in partnership.
Yeah.
I'm so excited by this news. Like, I really hope this, you know, works out and it's actually coming true. Like, it seems like one of those rumors that people are taking as this is going to happen.
Yeah,
because I think it's from a pretty like reputable sources.
Right, and usually if it's just a rumor, these would have been shot down by now. But it just seems like it's becoming more and more substantiated over the next couple of weeks, right? Yeah.
So unfortunately, we have no clue when this might happen. Right. I feel like it's something maybe they would kind of like slow trickle release. Like I feel like the news story said something about games. Like, the first games that would come to the service would be something like Ori and the Blind Forest. Right. You know, maybe games that feel more at home on a Nintendo platform.
Yeah.
Which I think makes sense.
But even then, like, that they have to, are they just going to put that actual version on the Nintendo Switch? I don't understand how
There's a lot of question marks.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to spend the time to make these games compatible for the Nintendo Switch. So I really don't see this happening anytime soon, where Nintendo's online system, they haven't been great at the whole online thing. And I don't see how all of a sudden they're going to become like these online wizards where, oh, now you can download this, but you're also partially streaming it. And like, I don't see Nintendo figuring that out.
But maybe it's because it's Xbox that would be running it, right?
So maybe they're going to get together on the infrastructure. That would make a lot of sense.
They can be like, hey, sharing resources, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you're right. And it would serve both companies well.
Yeah. What a cool story.
No kidding. Who'd have thought?
We have one last, I guess, Nintendo-related news story before we move on. We promise we're not just focusing on Nintendo today, but hey, they had the best news stories of the last week.
Right.
So, Pokemon Sword and Shield reveal trailer. So this is the long-awaited Pokemon RPG for the Nintendo Switch.
Right. So this is a mainline Pokemon. So I kind of took issue with people calling this like the RPG one, because I really feel like Pokemon Pikachu and Eevee was pretty close to mainline Pokemon.
I still need to play this.
With a few minor changes. You do need to play it, because it was actually really good. Really enjoyed it. And I actually think that the changes they made just to kind of refine the experience without like random encounters were changes for the better. So yeah, if you're one of those people that it's like, yeah, I'm waiting for an actual Pokemon, go play that game, because it's pretty much an actual Pokemon. Like I said way back, the Pokemon Go mobile integration is not a thing. If you don't want to do it, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's just like it's not there. So, but the number one thing I noticed about this game is, man, the visuals look good.
It looks great.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's been a while since I've played a Pokemon RPG. I'm trying to think of what the last one
3DS?
Was.
Did you play any of
the
those?
3DS. I played
X
Diamond.
and Y, I think I played.
Wait, no, that was a DS one.
That's
no, I never played X and Y. The last one, I think I played. Remember Soul Silver?
Yep.
And Heart Gold. I think those were the last ones I played.
Oh wow,
no, that's DS. So I haven't played any of the 3DS ones. I know they've taken a bit of a jump in visuals, but this is like another level.
Right. They look good on the 3DS.
Great art direction. Yeah.
Yeah, the Pikachu and Eevee game was beautiful, but this is on a whole nother level.
Yeah, and really like, I feel like diverse locations you're going to.
Right. New Pokemon announced, which the names to me were ridiculous.
I don't even remember now. Yeah, the starters, everyone's going over which ones they like the most. I think there's like a Fire Bunny and something else.
The names, I'm like,
Sobble or something, or Sobble. Yeah, it was one of them. It was like the water one.
I don't know. People, I mean, I'm not the biggest Pokemon player. I actually just really got into the last one because it was such a good entry point for younger people. So I played with my boys. I'm almost like more excited for these games because I kind of want to play them with the kids. For sure. But I always love just kind of having that. So I'm the same way with Animal Crossing. Like I have a thing, can't wait for Animal Crossing. How it's just like there. If I've got a half hour, I sit down and go fishing or in this or catch a few Pokemon. Oh, for sure. It also brings me back to like when I was a kid. I first started playing on the Game Boy Color when they came out. So. Yeah, same.
Man, I haven't played one of these for a while, so I feel like I'm really looking forward to this one more than I have in a long time. And, the Switch obviously is a factor, so it's going to be probably the most like full featured version of this RPG series. And it's coming late 2019, so this is going to be a big fall game for Nintendo. Like,
it seems like the back end of 2019 is going to be where everything is. Like the last Direct was mostly all like from summer on. Yeah, we have that Link's Awakening, I think, is coming out late 2019. Right. Yeah. So the names of the Pokemon were what do we got here? I just had it. Grookey. Cool. Score Bunny. That's so weird. Like Score Bunny. Literal, yeah. And Sobble. Like, come on. We could have spent another week on this, and I don't know. Those are weird names. I mean, hey,
I'm down with the weirdness of this franchise.
Pokemon is just plain weird to begin with, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Which Pokemon are you starting with, Nick? Sobbles the water.
The fire bunny thing. What is it?
Yeah,
Score bunny.
I'm going to score bunny too.
Yeah,
I always
pick the fire ones. Yeah, me too. Never pick the grass ones.
No.
I'll either go fire or occasionally water.
Right. I think I'm in the
never
same
pick
boat.
the grass one. Yeah, sorry, Bulbasaur, Chikorita.
Yeah.
I can't remember any of the other ones, but
yeah,
cool.
That's about the extent of my knowledge on Pokemon. Definitely not an expert. Just kind of on the side, did you see the preview for Detective Pikachu?
I haven't watched this new trailer yet, no.
Actually looks interesting.
Oh, I'm so down with this movie. Like, it looks so crazy.
I was like, this has got to be terrible. And I saw
Yeah.
the preview, I'm like, I think I'm in. I'd go see this with the boys.
I'm in it for CG Mr. Mime alone. Like,
yeah.
That's creepy as hell.
Totally
Oh yeah, and there was a CG trailer for a Pokemon movie, right? Like a different Pokemon movie, I think, with like Ash and all of them.
Yes.
I didn't watch this though.
Which
I wish
also
I had.
looks good. Like
yeah, okay.
Yeah, like I I think it looks, when I hear that I'm like, oh, it's gonna be terrible. But I saw the preview and it looks good.
Yeah, it's cool to see. Like Pokemon has really maintained its popularity.
No kidding.
Right? Like, I feel like it did wane a bit in kind of the mid 2000s,
Yeah.
but it's always kind of maintained this base level of popularity. But ever since Pokemon Go came out, it's been huge the last few years.
Really shot it back up.
Yeah.
Cards are still a thing. People are still into Pokemon cards. My boys, like if you think about it, the initial cards came out early
It was late
mid?
90s.
Was it late? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's still totally relevant.
Yeah.
20 years later.
For sure.
Yeah, Pokemon's done well. I'm looking forward to that one.
Okay.
All right, on to what we've been playing. So let's start that over.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, moving on to the what we've been playing segment. I haven't actually been playing a whole lot the last 2 weeks, but I know you've been playing some interesting stuff.
Yeah, so based off what we talked about last week, I started up Crackdown 3.
Right.
Even though you weren't, super high on it, I was like, hey, this is, it's on Game Pass.
Yes.
So I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah. And that's what I said. If you have Game Pass, it's there. It's not a good...
I think we're on the same page here.
Right, yeah. Like, I don't want to say... It's not a great game. It's not.
No.
But, like I said, it's a ton of fun.
It feels like a game from 2007.
Yes.
They have not advanced this core concept at all. But the thing is, that core gameplay loop is still kind of addictive.
Yeah.
Jumping around, collecting the orbs... getting more powerful, beating the crap out of guys. It's,
right, Terry Crews.
Being the super cop. Yeah, I mean, Terry Crews. I wish he was in it more.
Yeah.
Like, I've stayed as Terry Crews,
Me too.
because you can switch agents or whatever, but the only time you really hear him again is when you take over those propaganda towers and he starts, like, there's a huge, like, a hologram of him.
Yes. And just, like, quips
lines.
here and there.
Yeah.
That I feel like they got him in for, like, a day or two of... voice acting, and that was kind of it.
Yeah.
Did you remember the opening sequence of the game where they just get like vaporized?
What was that? I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah.
And then there's like something. Okay, now they've been revived. What's the word? Resurrected somehow, and You
know what? It doesn't matter. Nothing in this game matters.
No, you're right.
In terms of the plot.
Yeah.
You could tell they just didn't even try.
Yeah.
And it really doesn't matter. It's just about jumping around, being a super cop, not really thinking too hard about it.
Yeah.
It's a nice mindless game, right?
Yes. And
something you jump in, you can do a little bit of progress, because I think it's always auto-saving.
Yep. And then it's the kind of game like you jump in for 20 minutes and it's like 2 hours later and you just can't put it down. You're like, one more orb and then I'm done, right?
Yeah.
Or one more upgrade.
It's like, I had a few times when I was playing it where I'm like, I don't even know why I'm playing this.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of frustrating
Hold
because
left trigger and shoot,
the controls are really bad by today's standards.
Right.
You're constantly like, whenever I'm climbing a building, I'm just bumping my head into things, and nothing is very precise. Yeah, it's so clunky. The driving kind of sucks.
Yep.
But I do like the supercar that you can just call it any time and it transforms.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff still kind of feels cool, but none of it's really useful. A lot of the guns kind of suck, actually. Like, you basically just pick rocket launchers and just go from there. Like,
rocket,
I don't know why I would pick
launcher,
shotguns or anything.
Yeah, once you get these, you'll settle on your 2 favorite weapons, and then it's literally
just
hold left trigger to auto aim, shoot, and then
and
hit again, tap left trigger to go to the next place, shoot. One gets close enough, it's satisfying though when you just like punch a guy and he's
you have that like charge punch or whatever. Yeah, there's some kind of neat abilities, especially when you update your agility or whatever, jumping. You can do those kind of like a double jump and then like a movement through the air, which is cool.
That's why I like never drove around.
No, there's not really any
my
point.
driving skills at like level 2.
It's all about verticality, right?
Yeah. So the way I summarized it was, if you enjoyed the first Crackdown, you'll definitely enjoy this.
For sure. I don't understand why this game took so long.
Right. I don't understand. Yeah. This should have been a lot better for the time that it took and the amount of delays it went through.
And really, it shows that I think Microsoft seems to not really care that much about their first party stuff anymore, because I think this is still a good game for Game Pass. I think it was still probably one of the most played games on Xbox.
Yeah.
I read some stats somewhere that
nobody's playing the online. Did you try the online?
Oh no, I didn't bother.
Just kind of.
Well, it was a separate download.
Yeah, it was weird.
And I'm like, why? I don't care.
Yeah.
Because it feels, I can tell it's one of those games that wouldn't be satisfying for multiplayer, even if it has that destructibility.
Right.
What's the skill? You're just holding the button and shooting. I don't know.
Yeah.
But for a single player, a nice mindless thing.
I can't remember.
If you have Game Pass, check it out.
I can't remember a game more so where I was like, this is not a good game, but you should really play it. Like, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So the other thing that I've been playing mostly over the last couple of days is Undertale. Now, Undertale's been out for a few years. I don't even know how to describe this game. It's an RPG, kind of like a retro RPG, more puzzle-based, like dungeon crawling, but the focus is usually on like puzzles to get into or out of rooms, hitting switches and stuff like that. A really interesting aesthetic, kind of like a late 80s, almost reminded me of like a Commodore 64 type game. But like, so you're getting into battles. The one thing I really enjoyed was when you start a battle with an enemy, there's almost like so it's like a meter based, or it's timing based.
Yeah.
So once you initialize an attack, it has this little thing. And it reminds me of, I played a game called Resident Evil Gaiden on the Game Boy Color, and you'd hit the button and then the meter would go like this and you have to stop it, and where you stopped it kind of determined how hard you hit the guy.
Yeah.
So I love like active, what do they call that? Like,
I don't know if it's like an active time battle. Would it be active time battle system?
Like it's kind of like it's turn based, but there's only from so far just me and the party.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's like a timing mechanic. I basically like RPGs with the timing mechanic.
Yeah, it reminds me of the active reload from Gears of War.
Yes,
right?
Is a little bit like that.
On that?
Yep.
Yeah. Where you
that determines how hard you hit the guy, and then when he attacks you, it turns into like a little mini game. They just last like 3 seconds, where it's almost like a bullet hell shooter. You're not shooting, you're just avoiding the bullets.
Okay.
So when he attacks you, the amount of damage that is inflicted on you is determined by how many times you get hit by these little things that you're trying to avoid them. So little cool kind of intricacies to that. Really interesting story, kind of charming characters. Now I'm only just exiting the tutorial portion of it. So I can't speak to it a whole lot, but it was on sale. I think I paid like $12 for it on the Nintendo Switch.
I believe it's still on sale.
It has been for a while. Yeah, I think you should. Yeah. Like, I just heard such great things about it. Really enjoy the kind of 8-bit soundtrack as well.
I've heard the music's amazing in this game.
Yeah, really good. So, I mean, this is a game that's been out for a while, and a lot of you probably already played it. Now, they just released Chapter 1 of Deltarune. Now, I don't know. I don't know if this is a direct sequel, but I think it's done by the same people and kind of the same style from what I know. But that's where I've been spending. Like I said, I didn't get to a whole lot of games this week. Just Undertale, and I've been playing quite a bit of NBA 2K19 on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, and you said this one, it doesn't run that great?
No, and I wasn't expecting it to. I played the previous years, but I feel like this one is better than the last one. It's doable. It's the best portable basketball game ever made. Sure. It still is, right? Like, I mean, it's not a really high watermark there, but so this version includes like their single player almost basketball RPGs, like story mode. Yeah. And that's where I've been kind of focusing all of my time. And it plays pretty well on the Nintendo Switch, so I've been playing that quite a bit actually. I'm kind of hooked on 2K19.
Was this the game that had all of that controversy over its like kind of microtransactions?
Yeah, they have for like the last 2 years. Yeah. It's really hard. So if you play my team mode, like 2 years previous, like I got through the whole my team mode. You don't have to spend anything. Like you have to go through team by team. I beat every team, and then there's like 30 more teams you play. Got through that all with losing like, I don't know, maybe 10 times. Last year I got stuck on like the 5th team and couldn't beat it. And it was just clear,
you had to pay.
Right? It's just clear, like, okay, you've hit a wall now where they want you to pay. Yeah. So actually, what got me into playing 2K19 was They had a Twitch Prime freebie, like a loot thing for Twitch Prime members or Amazon Prime. They give away stuff on Twitch Prime.
Yep.
And it was like 20,000 VC and a couple card packs. So I was able to upgrade my character to a point where like it was like at least competitive and I was having more fun. So that's actually kind of what got me back into it. So smart move by NBA 2K.
Yeah.
Releasing some free coin, because I'm sure that got a lot of people back. I'm sure it actually sold a couple copies too. It's pretty smart, the Twitch Prime
the game's
thing.
playable now. Great. Yeah.
Right. Like I did the same thing with Apex Legends. Had those exclusive. There's an exclusive skin, I think, and you know that got me back in Apex Legends.
You still playing that?
I haven't gone back. I've been watching a lot of streams though. I've been watching a lot of Dr. Disrespect, and sometimes I think I get more satisfaction out of actually watching somebody who's good at the game, as crazy as that sounds, than myself playing it.
Yeah.
But again, I don't have a group. I need to find my group of like 3 to 5 guys that like we play, and I'm sure I could. Like I have so many. I'm very popular on PlayStation 4 at least. I have like all these PlayStation 4 friends, and I think what I need to do is just be like, hey, I'm looking for a couple people to play, because I know tons of people would probably be willing to play with me. But I just need to find. I know you've got a good group. I need to find that group of like 3 or 4 people. Yeah.
There's been like group politics that have come to the surface with this. Oh my goodness.
Because there's only 3 in Apex, and you've got a group of 4?
No, there's at least probably 6 to 8 people that are kind of part of this connected group where you try to play, but it always seems that we have too many people on at one time and not enough to fill 2 groups, so there's always like someone who's
so you're like a pro team and you're like, oh, you just don't tell like the guy who's really crappy that you guys are playing tonight.
I don't know, but I mean I'm one of the crappier players, but I'm a good team player. That's my thing, right? So I'm not great at, getting tons of kills or things like that, but I'm really good at, pointing out enemies or just being a good communicator. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Apex Legends still really enjoying it. I have not as much in the past few couple weeks.
Did you get into Anthem at all?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, if you want to, I still have my pre-ordered copy here.
Are you gonna play it? Like what?
I got a code, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay.
Again,
sorry guys, I guess I'm getting the copy. Hey.
Again, it's partially due to I need a group. I need a group of guys.
All right. What's it on? Xbox?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. Maybe we could give it a go. I don't know. I've heard a lot of negative things about it though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. I'm kind of waiting for the Division 2, and I know they had a beta recently.
Oh, I tried out. I started the demo yesterday.
Okay.
I didn't get too far in it because I think I jumped into Apex then because people got online. But it seems like a bit more of the same, but just everything is cleaned up a bit.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to figure out like I only have time for one online game.
I feel like Division 2 will probably give you more satisfaction.
And I think I'm more into that kind of like third-person cover shooter.
Yeah.
Than I am like a first-person. Wait, is Anthem third or first?
Anthem is third.
Okay,
third
so
person,
more likely to like. I like third. I think I'm better at third-person. Yeah. I'm just suck at first-person shooters.
Yeah, I'm just not. I'm not really like feeling this type of game right now, and it seems like there's a lot kind of in quick succession. This. Kind of always this live service sort of game where you have to invest tons of time in it, log in every day, do this sort of stuff. And the thing with Anthem too is I think it's going to be a different game a couple months from now.
I know, and then I start thinking like
change so much. Yeah. It's like, why do I want to play it right now?
Right.
When it's at its worst.
Yes, that's a big thing for me too. Yeah. Where I was like, well, does it make more sense to jump in on this when it's like more refined and the actual finished product?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I, maybe hold off. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Anything else that you've been playing recently?
Yeah, another game that I jumped on because you had mentioned it last week, Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah.
Because you said it, it had just come to Game Pass. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is one I missed. So I downloaded it on my roommate's Xbox One X because I want to play it in, the best performing way I can. So I'm, frame rate, it's great doing that 60 frames per second.
What did you think about the visuals?
I think they're really good. I know you had said that you thought it was a step back or something.
So I had an issue with how Lara Croft looked, and I was just like,
her face looks a little different.
It doesn't look that, like I thought it should have been. I thought the graphics should have been better, like Tomb Raider. geez, what was the one?
Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah.
Rise, I thought looked amazing, and I didn't see that step up from Shadow, so I was a little underwhelmed with the visuals. They're still great, but
it might be just because like in these jungle settings, and you look at the like vistas, and
you might
it looks
be right.
Really cool.
It might be a lighting issue because I feel like Rise was very much like snow and kind of muted colors.
Yeah,
and maybe that could have been something there too. But yeah, I just wasn't blown away by the visuals.
No. So I'm maybe 2 hours in.
Okay.
You know, just got to I guess like Peru, kind of after her, like, you know, she's like does like a crash landing there, and you find Jonah and Alma to somewhere.
Are you at that like main kind of hub village yet? Is that 2 hours?
I think I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the way there right now. So what I like so far is the kind of the narrative direction. I like that they're sort of confronting the morality of Laura's actions. You know, the series doesn't really think too deeply about, you know, kind of the ethics of a white woman coming in and like plundering from these cultures and stuff.
Yes, and they do touch.
Yeah, and like right off the bat, it's she trips up in a big way, and it's like, oh, you're causing these cataclysms.
Yes,
and it's kind of in this debate about, okay, is she really causing them, and you know, whatever. But I think just her interfering, you know, is enough to kind of get the ball rolling on this story, and I thought that was really cool. Like, it wasn't something I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought the story was pretty good in this one, whereas I felt Rise was a little bit more less story driven. I think this one's more story driven than Rise to me.
And I've heard that once you get into those hub areas, you can like talk to people more and kind of get into some side quests and things like that.
Yeah, the one thing I liked in that hub area and the game in general is you can switch the dialogue to be in their native
I was just going to mention
language. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it really enforces that kind of like a stranger in a strange land sort of thing. If you can't understand, I mean, we can read the subtitles, but it's like
feels more authentic and immersive.
I think that's cool, and I really like the difficulty sliders that you can do. Yes. You can make puzzles harder. You could make combat easier if you really don't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I like that there's a less focus on combat.
Yeah.
Overall, because my favorite things are the puzzles and the exploration. So
I think it may be the opposite. I actually really like the combat in Rise. I'm a really big fan of using bows in games. I've mentioned before.
Of course.
And I thought the combat was a step back. It felt clunky to me.
Oh.
It just felt like I never got a grasp on the combat like I did with Rise. Like Rise, I was like,
you felt like you were a pro by the end of it.
And like, this time I'm constantly getting noticed and getting caught up like on objects of like, oh, I don't know where to go. I'm getting all shot, and I don't know. I just
think there's something off with the aiming, maybe.
I don't know if it's the aiming. I may even come down to like level design where those combat sections are. I don't know, but I had more fun in the combat in Rise. I definitely felt that the story I think was like better in Shadow.
Okay, yeah.
Either way, great game.
Yeah, and it's a shame that it got so overshadowed last year. I feel like no one was talking about this. Hey. But no one was really talking about it. Came out at a weird time.
Yeah, kind of came and went relatively quickly.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'm kind of scared about the franchise's, like, where it's going to go.
It was on a real... had some real nice momentum after Rise, because Rise, even the first game was great. Rise, and then I feel like it just kind of plateaued.
Yeah.
And now I don't know how excited. Like I held Rise above Uncharted 4. That's how much I liked it.
Yeah.
And it came out before. And I'm like, I really don't see how Uncharted 4 is going to be able to beat this.
Right.
And I think I'm talking more so. I like the story better in Uncharted 4.
Yeah.
But the game itself,
gameplay.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Rise.
I think it is more solid in these Tomb Raider games. Yeah. Still, I mean, man, it's still one of my favorite franchises of the last 5 years or so.
Right. I don't know if anybody thought that it would come back in the way that it has, right? Because it was kind of saw some dark days there.
Yeah. What a great reboot series, though.
Right.
Even if this one maybe doesn't end off on the best note. But yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider. If you have Game Pass, check it out for sure.
Another reason to pick up Game Pass if you don't have it.
Yeah. One other thing that I just started playing again, is Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah.
So this is a game I keep starting up, pulling away from, and then keep going back to. So I still haven't beat Ganon or anything like that. I'm kind of in the last, I guess, zone, like the Gerudo desert area.
Right.
So I have one
depending on what order you... Because
you can do them in... Yeah, that's true. So it would be last for me.
That's I think that was last for me, too.
Yeah. It seems like probably the most difficult, so that's why I left it.
Yeah.
But I just found the Master Sword, because I went back, because I was like, oh, I have enough hearts now, because I knew you needed 13 hearts or something like that.
Yeah.
So I went to the Lost Woods, and it was kind of a cool section where you have to figure out the right way through the woods to get to the... kind of like Deku tree and
was it like there was like shadowy like trees with like mist and that section?
Yeah, and there's these like torches that are kind of pointing the way, but they diverge a bit, so you have to kind of memorize. It actually didn't take me that long. I thought it was going to be a lot harder.
Yeah,
but I mean, man, Breath of the Wild. I mean, 2 years later, this is still such a great open world game, and I feel like I appreciate it more and more.
Yeah,
like when I come back to it.
Yeah, it's a Zelda game that's not really like a traditional Zelda game. Yeah. It's more kind of like a Skyrim, which I loved it. I am kind of looking forward to like the remake of Link. No, I want to say Oracle Seasons, the Game Boy Color one.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like the reason this game is standing out for me right now is because we've seen so many kind of samey open world games over the past year or so.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of things like, Far Cry, even Assassin's Creed to an extent, where they have these big, beautiful open worlds, but it's all just filled with the same activities over and over. Mm-hmm. Whereas Breath of the Wild is all about discovery, right? Yeah. You're just like, what's under this rock? What's under, like, going over here? And you're constantly like a little lost, but you're just trying to find new points, and it's really like, I don't know, just a well-realized world. Yeah,
it was one of the first open-world games like that where I didn't always care about whether I was heading in the right direction, because I knew I would stumble upon something cool.
Yeah.
Or some new thing to do. Whereas with open-world games, I feel like I'm constantly checking my quests and where I'm going. This one, I just kind of, it definitely was more likely to just kind of wander. Yeah. Now, do you have access to, like, any of the DLC? Like, they had the motorcycle that came out?
I haven't done that, no. I figured that I probably will get it eventually, like, but after I kind of...
Because that was DLC, right? The motorcycle?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I feel like you have to do a ton of stuff to get it, though, so by the time you get it, there's really not much else to do in the game, so it's kind of like, but...
Yeah, it's a game that I need to go back to. I finished it, but I only put, like, I think 50 hours in before I wrapped it up. So I have that, like, save file, like, pre-Ganon, that I can kind of jump into and just go finish everything off and get more shrines. And I don't know if I would ever 100% that game, but I'd like to go back and put, like, another 20 hours in just to get some more Zelda.
Yeah, it's still... like, the reason I've been coming back to it is that it still just feels like I'm missing a lot of the experience.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen everything, and I really want to, so...
Right.
Yeah. Breath of the Wild.
So, on to movies and TV. Did you get a chance to see any films since
saw a couple, actually. So, briefly I'll touch on, I saw Lego Movie 2.
Okay.
I forget what the subtitle's called, whatever.
The second one or something?
The second one or something. Yeah. I had a very similar reaction as you. I feel like I enjoyed it overall, but it lacked the kind of surprise and originality of that first movie.
Yes. Yeah, I think hard to live up to that first Lego movie, which, like I said, when that first Lego movie was announced, people were like, a Lego movie is going to be garbage.
Yeah.
And it was surprisingly good. I think it's actually a really good movie. And, the subsequent films, Lego Batman was pretty good, but just haven't quite reached up to that yet.
I think one of the problems was once you reveal that whole... You remember, like, the third act thing where it's like, oh, this is actually a kid's play set and all this sort of stuff. You kind of know that that's going to be in play. Yeah. And it's exactly what you think it kind of is.
It doesn't have the same effect.
It didn't. I liked the, kind of the guest appearance from Maya Rudolph as the mom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, that was like a cool cameo.
Yeah.
And you could tell that they couldn't get Will Ferrell back, so they just have his voice. Like, he's just yelling at them and stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, not a bad movie.
No,
but
not
just
at
kind
all.
of like, meh.
No. And, but I saw a way better animated movie.
Okay.
Which was the new How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, okay.
So this is the third one now.
Third. Okay, I've seen the first two.
Yeah.
The first one I loved. The second one was the one where Toothless.
Yes, the dragon. Yeah, that was his name.
What happened in the second one? Remind me. Do you
remember? I mean, I guess. Hey, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, but his dad dies. That was like kind of the big thing I remember, and like it was kind of a quest. He finds his mom, who's played by Cate Blanchett. She's kind of this cool like warrior.
Okay, yeah, now I remember.
Yeah,
so kind of one of those series that has been able to maintain like good.
It's films. Quality. Yeah, I think. I mean, I think overall the How to Train Your Dragon series, like it feels on par with the best of Pixar over the past decade or so.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Like it makes me think of the Toy Story series. Like every one of those movies. Toy Story 3 may have been my favorite.
Right. And I mean, I don't know if this one would be my favorite or not, but it was on the same quality level, I felt like. And,
I definitely want to see it now, because I knew it was out, but I was like, it's the third one.
Yeah, and it kind of had that thing that was lacking, I guess, for Lego Movie for me, which was, I guess, like, really good character development. It's very heartfelt. Like, you really care about the kind of that bond between, Jay Baruchel's Hiccup, and Toothless the dragon, who is still probably like one of the most adorable CG creatures ever.
Yeah.
Like you can really tell they modeled it after cats, and so this one's about.
You see it in the eyes.
Yeah, and like so Toothless finds like it's always been he's the last of his kind or whatever, his special dragon like night furies or something. But it comes across like a female one. Yeah. It's all about him like trying to like kind of woo her, and it's like kind of hilarious. And in the movie it gets into this really good kind of subtext of human impact on kind of the natural world.
Okay.
And I really just overall can't believe that they pulled off this third movie. Like when it was announced, I was like, oh cool, yeah, another one of those. I liked those, and then it got really good reviews. And I was like, I should go check it out. And I really enjoyed it. I don't know if your boys are into this series or not, but
they are.
Highly recommended.
And I hadn't planned on seeing it, and now that I think you've given it such a glowing review, I think I definitely want to go see it.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it more than the Lego Movie.
So I haven't seen any movies. I watched. What did I watch? I watched the Mr. Rogers doc on on Netflix.
That?
I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I grew up with the show, so I had a connection to it, and I thought it was definitely worth checking out. I mean, if you're somebody that doesn't know really much about Mr. Rogers, I don't know if you would really care, but if you're somebody my age or maybe older that remembered watching the show, it was interesting because it went into like being an era of Transformers and G.I. Joe and like all this flashy stuff. There was Fred Rogers, who was very soft-spoken, kind of endearing older man with puppets and stuff, and it just somehow worked.
Yeah, I really the big conversation around this movie, I feel like, is just what a kind of icon he is in terms of a positive male role model. Right. For kids and just for like anyone really. Yeah. He was just always seemed like his heart was in the right place. And,
right. Yeah. And I have this weird thing where like I had to look up and go, was there anything about Fred Rogers?
Right, you're like, oh my god, please, no, I hope there's no scandal with this guy, or
and your mind almost just goes there, and it's sad that it does,
because we're in an era of being really disappointed in our heroes.
Yes, yes,
because a lot of them have been have a lot of skeletons in the closet.
He died in like 2003, so I was like, okay, well, was there anything that came up? Even my wife said, wasn't there a thing about him? Like, I don't think so. I'm like, I fucking hope not.
For real.
And there wasn't.
Bleep that out.
He was just a sweet man that loved children, like.
But not in a weird, creepy way.
Right.
It just,
like I love kids. I love being around kids, and like it doesn't always have to be creepy.
Sorry, what that reminds me of? Did you ever see the Office episode where Michael Scott creates a dating profile and he's like, there we go. Child lover 83. There, my intentions are known right there, or something, or like it says right there. But he's like going from the perspective of like he really wants kids and he loves kids, but it's the creepiest thing.
Right, your mind just kind of goes there.
So,
it's worth watching. He was a really interesting, and I didn't realize, really intelligent man, and really like was basically practicing psychology. To kids and to adults. It was cool. It was kind of heartwarming, and his whole thing was positivity. And he would always tell children, "You're special and you're great just the way you are." And there was like this whole backlash that they went through. Apparently, there was some backlash on Mr. Rogers. People would be like, "Oh, that's why kids these days aren't driven enough because people like Mr. Rogers told them that they're all special.
Oh, it's okay to be lazy or something, or they're all snowflakes or something, right?"
But he's just like, no, he's just like,
cool to be who you are. You know?
You're okay being who you are, right? And you're going to be loved no matter who you are, and it's kind of a cool message. So
be true to yourself. That's
right. So I enjoyed it. I also watched a doc on Studio 54, which is on Netflix. It was okay. It's nothing I would recommend, but it was kind of cool. Like, I went into like the history of like Studio 54. It was an old theater, and it had like theater seating, and they like buried it so it was like level. Really, that part was interesting. And then there was like a whole bunch of stuff. Apparently, it only lasted like 36 months before it was shut down. Okay. And, so if you've watched everything else on Netflix, check that one out. If you've watched the Fire doc already, then check that one out.
Yes, the Fire Fest. Did you check out Umbrella Academy?
I did. I forget, we didn't talk about that last time.
I think I brought it up because I had started it, but I finished it.
I haven't gone back. I watched the first 2 episodes. I think my wife has continued it without me. I just kind of fell out of it. But fair. Yeah, I would like to kind of circle back because I enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah, I liked it more as I went along, I felt like.
Okay.
The first episode didn't grab me that much. I was definitely interested by the concept, but yeah, I feel like once you get deeper into it, revelations start to come out. It's really good. It's one of my kind of favorite superhero series right now, I feel like.
I need to go back. Yeah. I need something else to watch, something a little bit lighter, because I binged watch and got caught up on True Detective season 3. I'm watching it through Crave, which is a Canadian thing, but I got all the way through to episode 7. I'm like, oh, it's a 7-episode series, and then I realized, oh no, they're just adding episodes, but I'm just way behind. You know what I mean? So now I have to wait each Sunday to go back and to watch the episode.
I think it finished though, right?
Okay, so maybe there was only 1 episode left, which makes sense.
I think there's probably an 8 episode.
Right, time-wise. Yeah. It's great. It's a great show. It stars this time around, what's his name? Mahershala Ali? Does that sound right to you?
I don't know how to say his name. I feel like I've never actually heard anyone say it out loud.
I think it's Mahershala Ali.
Yeah. Apologies if we're butchering it.
Because this man has been in some good stuff.
He's really...
Luke Cage is when he kind of first came into my...
Yeah, that was the first thing I really noticed.
Was he in Moonlight?
Yeah.
He was in Moonlight? Yeah.
He won Best Supporting Actor for that, and he just recently won Best Supporting Actor for Green Book.
Which apparently was fantastic, right?
I mean, I've heard his performance is good. I've heard the movie is, like, dog shit.
Really?
Yeah.
So now,
I mean,
was the other guy in the movie the brother from Mudbound? Do you remember? Do you see Mudbound?
Oh yeah, I really like Mudbound.
Was that the brother? Is that
in Green Book?
Yeah.
No, it's Viggo Mortensen. From from Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Either way, True Detective season 3. The first season I absolutely loved with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Oh yeah,
the show blew up.
Oh man, I was so hooked on that show. Right. It was just like, just keep it going. It was like, I don't binge shows a lot, but that was one of them.
Yeah, and then season 2, I watched the first few episodes and kind of
I finished it. It had its moments, but overall, I just never really knew what the hell was going on in it. Yeah.
I would say if you missed season 2 or you kind of fell out after season 2, I think this one's worth watching. It jumps around from the incident that happens in this one, happens in the 80s, I think 84. It jumps around from 84 to 1990 when the case is reopened, and then current, it's like 2015. So you see an aging, the lead character's name is Wayne Hayes, and you see him, he's aging, he's getting the onset of dementia.
Oh, interesting.
And the case had still not been solved in 2015. So he's trying to eventually starts to try and kind of solve this case.
While he's also kind of losing his mind.
Him and his old partner get back together, who were working on the case initially. So it jumps around between those 3 times. You see him as young. He's like in the old 90s, and so it's kind of cool because you get a different mix of styles. You get 80s and then jumps up to 90s, like even how people look and talk and act.
Right,
so
the clothes and
it can be a little hard to follow at times because he kind of looks. The 90s one and the 80s one look pretty similar. I'm like, okay, are we in 84 right now? Or
They've added a couple wrinkles or something.
Yeah. Different haircut, I think. Gotcha. But really good show. Highly recommend it. Like I said, if you fell out after the second season, most people loved the first.
Yeah, this is on my list. I mean, I'm looking for something new to watch. So.
Do you have Crave or do you have?
Yeah,
HBO?
I have Crave, but I don't have that the upgraded one. I think you need it for that because it's new HBO. I can watch like the first 2 seasons.
Okay.
But
yeah, I got the upgraded one on.
I might do it for a bit.
On a deal.
Yeah.
So I think I'm still only paying the regular price, and it also adds a bunch of movies. And
yeah.
stuff.
Well, I think I'm gonna do the upgrade when the new season of Game of Thrones comes out, because it will be the same thing. They're releasing it.
That's smart. When is the new season of Game of Thrones coming? I forget.
I think it's April.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly, but
it's
coming out soon.
When that happens, we'll be doing a.
Yes, can we do that?
We can totally
do like a recap. Yeah. We might have to go to weekly episodes then, huh? Yeah, for a little bit anyway. Yeah.
Or we just start the Game of Thrones cast.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like there's no shortage of those already.
Right. Anything else from you on the TV side?
Yeah. Just briefly, I started up watching BoJack Horseman again.
Okay.
So I'm watching this with Hannah right now. She's never seen it, and this is
a
show.
Is it Will Arnett?
Will Arnett,
okay.
Yeah. I think I watched the first 2 seasons and then kind of fell out. They're up to 5 seasons now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Man, this is one of my favorite animated series.
Okay.
You know, and it does such a good job of skewering Hollywood and just you know, Will Arnett is just like, his character is just so kind of detestable, but you're still rooting for him. You know, he's just a no good drunk. He's just, you know, washed up and. But man, like the supporting cast is so good. I still just get a kick out of the visual gags in the show because it's, you know, a lot of characters are just animals. So you have the one character, his name is like Lenny Turtletaub, and he's like a turtle director or screenwriter. He's played by J.K. Simmons, and you see him like he's on the call at one point, and he's just moving really slowly, like walking. He's like, and it's just like little details like that. Like it's a show that's just great for that. Like the paparazzi guys are birds, and they'll just like fly away like when they're doing stuff. One tries to escape out a window and just smashes into it, and it's just, I don't know. Have you ever watched it?
I watched like I think 1 or 2 episodes closer to when it first came out, and I just haven't gone back. I should try it out again though, for sure.
Yeah, definitely one of, I think, Netflix's best original series.
Right. Yeah. Whatever happened with that Enchanted show? Is it getting a 2nd season? Is it?
Was that the Matt Groening one? I never watched it. I don't know. Was it good?
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Okay.
I think
probably.
I think at the time I said that it was a good first season, and it feels like something that they'll build on and be like, season 3 will be like, it'll get really good.
Gotcha.
Because, you know, it's kind of like The Simpsons, right? Like, you know.
Yeah, season 1 wasn't really fully formed yet. Yeah, it wasn't until like season 2, 3 that they really found their footing. Yeah. But I mean, Futurama, I think, was a show. That's another Groening show, but that show was great right out of the gate. I thought. Yeah.
I never got into Futurama.
Oh, it's great.
It's another thing I should try out. Maybe watch with the boys. They love The Simpsons right now. So.
Oh, okay. So you let them watch The Simpsons?
I let them watch.
No, I think that's fine. I'm not like.
No, I let them watch.
I'm just curious
a lot.
Okay.
The only thing I won't let them watch is like extreme violence or like. Sexual scenes stuff, that like I don't. This is awkward.
Yeah, I feel like The Simpsons is fine. I feel
like
it would be interesting to see with them, right? Because right now they're probably just laughing at kind of like Bart's antics and things like that.
And Homer, like,
and they'll start when they get older. Those jokes. That's how it happened for me. I watched it when I was a kid. And then, you know, you start to understand the jokes more as you get older. Yeah. Yeah,
like they've seen all the Marvel movies, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I'll let them even watch PG-13 movies, and until it's a problem, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? Until I hear them, if they throw out a few swear words, I mean, I'm like, okay.
F you, Dad! Yeah. Like, did you have anything you wanted to plug at the end? Because I did, like, last week, I recommended Binge Mode for... As a podcast to check out, and we actually had someone. Shout out to Aripa GG. If I'm getting that username right, but I know he commented and said like, "Oh man, thanks for the the recommendation. I've been listening to Binge Mode, but my plug right now, it's nothing to do with games or anything like that. But I recently picked up a subscription to The Athletic."
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's this. I love reading sports journalism. It's probably my favorite thing to read now, even over games.
At one point, I was on the fence about getting The Athletic, and I think it was on sale for like really cheap, and I almost pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
But then I just went back to like, I can get all this information through podcasts or for free on the internet.
Sure. I feel like they do a good job of justifying the price tag.
And you're looking for stuff. Are you looking for stuff centric to Toronto, right?
Yeah.
See, that would be a selling point for me, right? If I can pick up The Athletic because it's based like they have The Athletic for like most cities.
Yeah.
So that is that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a cool setup. So what you do is you kind of pick your favorite teams, right? It can be from all the different major sports, right? And so I picked Toronto Blue Jays, Toronto Maple Leafs. What am I thinking? And for some reason, the Detroit Lions, even though I don't follow them that much and they suck, but whatever. And then your feed is, kind of customized to that. It's really cool. They do. They have like beat writers who do a game recap. Like every Leafs game, they'll have a recap of it, and they rate all the players and what they liked. How was the power play? How was this? It's just, I don't know, really cool.
Maybe I should check it out.
I think they do a great job of it. Really in-depth coverage, and they have a really good. They just this year they started they hired a whole team for fantasy baseball, and they're like promising to have like kind of the most in-depth coverage.
Interesting.
So I'm think that's cool. Like I'm gonna be doing fantasy baseball again. So
do you remember what you're paying?
What is it? It's like $7 a month.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, I figured I'm using this all the time.
Yeah.
And I like to support good written content. And, I think they have a cool thing going on there. The app, and it's good.
Speaking of monthly services, I forgot to mention during the TV, but literally before you came, about an hour before you came, I pulled the trigger on the WWE network.
Interesting. I didn't even know you really followed wrestling.
I don't, but it's one of those things that like I watch from afar and like I see people post about, and like I really wish I like wrestling. My experience with wrestling in the 80s, big into like Hulkamania and stuff like that, like WrestleMania 1, 2, maybe 3. Then I fell out. Then I really got into the Attitude Era in high school.
Yeah, that's when I was into it, when I was like
96 to 98-ish.
Yeah.
And I would watch Raw's War religiously on Mondays.
Like Undertaker, Mankind.
Yeah. So then I fell out of it, and I haven't been back since. We started going to those independent wrestling shows here and there. But I follow a lot of people who are into wrestling, and sometimes they'll do commentary. Shout out to Michael Ball 64 on Instagram. He's a guy that I watch, and he just like comments and like, I wish I knew more.
I wish you were in on it.
Yeah. Like I like wrestling, and again, I always go back to this, but I feel like it's something fun that I could do with my boys, like hang out down here on a Sunday watching whatever wrestling pay-per-view we get. So it's like $12.99 a month. You get all the pay-per-views, you get all their original programming, and you also get access to their on-demand content, so you can go back and watch old WrestleManias. So I think it's pretty good value for $13. I'll see how it goes. I know WrestleMania is in, I think, April.
I was gonna say, I think you picked it up at a good time, because that's usually in the spring, right?
I'll use those 2 months to kind of gauge how much we're using it, and even if I watch one pay-per-view a month, it's worth it.
Sure.
$13. So I'm kind of excited. I'm hoping my boys take it on and get it. If they don't care, I probably will fall out of it. But if it's something that we can kind of hang out and let's watch wrestling for an hour, I think it'd be kind of fun. So
I always like the wrestling video games. That's what I used to be big into.
Yeah, and I think that probably kept me in wrestling a little bit in high school too, because I was playing those games on the N64.
Yeah, the old SmackDown games.
Right, when then PS1 was into SmackDown.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, that's it. That's all our time for this week's episode. As always, you can find the Screen Therapy Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, the Google Play Store, and on YouTube. I usually upload the video version a couple days, sometimes a week after. So if you are watching the YouTube version and you want to get this content before, go ahead and subscribe in the description below. And feel free to leave us a review on iTunes. Yeah. Predominantly iTunes is our viewership. Yeah. We get a couple thousand views on YouTube, which is great. And thank you to everybody who's been subscribing. Our numbers are steadily going up. And eventually down the road we may discuss doing it weekly, get some sponsors, maybe a few guests here and there.
I'd love to do guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't quite know how we would.
No, I'd have to figure out the logistics of that. We'd have to have them
almost physically, I feel like.
Yeah, and video. Usually I can convince people to come check out the basement and get on with us. So.
I think we could have Matt on here?
Yeah, we could have Matt on for a segment. Okay. I'm sure. I don't know if an hour of Matt would get derailed a whole lot, but we'll see. Matt Gamer Alley may be on the show someday, and I've got all kinds of people locally who would be great to bring in. Yeah. And then someday we'll get Victor Lucas on the show.
Yes, the dream.
Our heroes. Yeah. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching or listening, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
See you next time.